Thank you for your kind words. A year ago, we were in this room and the room was pretty packed and full. Now it's a bit sad to see the room totally empty. I'm speaking here in front of a set of empty chairs with some colleagues from the Vienna Liaison Office, but we have a member here from the Austrian delegation, Reinhold Lopatka, the head of our uh, terrorism committee and the special representative on Central Asia. So at least one member is present being in Austria. Thank you very much, Reinhold Pataka, for being with us. The pandemic, COVID pandemic, of course, has affected us all. And I would like to take this opportunity as this is basically with this meeting, we conclude 1 year, a full cycle of meetings that we've not been able to have in person. I hope it concludes that cycle, but I'm afraid we'll have more bad news later on in my address. But in this year, I would like to express solidarity to the colleagues who have been affected by the COVID. There's been 5 of the International Secretariat staff who have been touched by this. Of course, we know of some members, so full solidarity to the members, and also full solidarity to the OSCE colleagues of the executive structures. There have been 532 cases. This is the last figures that we received today. And unfortunately, also one colleague died of the COVID pandemic in the OSCE entire organization, which has around 3,500 people. So 532 were affected by that. So full solidarity to them. One lessons we've learned during this year is that, and it's the obvious one, is that we're all interconnected. We cannot deal with the issues that we have, with the challenges that we have by dealing with them on a purely national agenda. We can see it with the issues of vaccines. We can see it also with the issues of if you have one country which is totally safe, of course, if you are surrounded by other countries who have not been vaccinated, you still are affected by the pandemic. So the lesson that we draw is that we have to strengthen the multilateral system that we have. We have to treasure the international organizations that we have, and we have to try to strengthen them. I mentioned at the last Bureau meeting that a sentence that really struck me was that the real virus is probably not the COVID-19, but it's the virus called selfishness, indifference. If we approach the challenges that we have with selfishness, but thinking only inward looking, I think we will have difficulties in dealing with the challenge that we have ahead. And these are the challenges of health, but also the challenges of climate change, the challenges of fighting corruption, of fighting organized crime, of fighting terrorism, of dealing with the movement of people. All these challenges that we have in the international agenda are items that require a multilateral approach, require cooperation, which is what we try to do here. Unfortunately, in the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly, we try to do this exercise of cooperating with each other when we meet each other, when we talk to each other, when we, besides the official meeting, also meet in social occasions. We have not been able to do this for the last year, and we will try to resume this as soon as possible. But I must say I've been extremely proud of what the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly has managed to do in the last year. I think we reacted very quickly. We were also creative in introducing a new way of working. I will not list the entire set of meetings that we've had online, but if you see in the written report, which I referred to and I've addressed, in the last pages, you will find 3 full pages here of activities that have been held in this last year, which is quite impressive, I must say, if you think of all the issues that have been discussed. And this is all thanks to you. And so I really thank all the members that have participated, and I thank all the staff that have been involved into participating in this exercise. We've also tried to use our parliamentary diplomatic channels to deal with some of the hot issues we have within the OSCE family. Recall the activities that we've done, especially in Belarus, trying to put together the opposition and the authorities in Minsk. We've had actually a moment when head of the Belarus delegation spoke to Ms. Tikhanovskaya in a web call. These are little things that we can contribute with our small means that we have, as we do not have possibilities to meet in person. But I'm very proud of what has been done by the Secretariat. We've had actually some activities in person, and I must say these were quite impressive in the way that we have managed to organize them almost as we normally do. We had elections in Montenegro, in Georgia, in the United States, with many members involved. We had two parallel elections on the 10th of January in Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan, and I thank also here all those who have led these missions. Reno Lopatka is here, but also all those, Gary Eriksson, Margareta Sederfeld, Michael Link, all of those who have had a leadership position in these elections. We are planning 2 election observation missions in Bulgaria on the 4th of April and in Albania on the 25th of April, and preparations for these 2 missions are all. As we are in Vienna, headquarters of the OSCE institutions, I would like also to take the opportunity to thank the Albanian chairmanship who led the organization last year, and of course to welcome the Swedish new leadership, but to thank the Albanian chairmanship to manage to deliver to us 4 new heads of institutions. We've had for 6 months a situation with the OSCE without leadership in the 4 autonomous bodies and in the secretariat. Now we have 4 leaders, 2 women, 2 men. Some of them are well known to us, who are leading these institutions, and I think the OSCE is much stronger with them on top. The OSCE Parliamentary Assembly, during this period of challenges that the OSCE had, triggered an activity that you, Mr. President, have referred to, the OSCE Call for Action, or if we look into the future, the Helsinki Plus 50 project. Here, I would like to thank all the leaders, all the members of the Bureau for taking this initiative, for asking us to put some ideas on the plate. And I would like to thank all the former leaders of the OSCE, former chairman in office, former presidents, former secretary generals, heads of institutions, who have signed on to a document that was submitted to them that is now the first step or a set of activities that under the leadership also of Ambassador Zanier, who has joined us as a consultant to guide us through this process, leading us to Helsinki Plus 50, a project which aims at trying to address the main challenges that I see in the OSCE, which is the lack of political attention by the political leadership in capitals. And we will address a number of issues that we think are hot issues or problematic issues within the functioning of this organization, because we treasure the organization. I think this organization does a lot of good work in the field, in the headquarters, in the institutions, and I think it's a very well-known secret, but among those who work in the organization, but it's not very much well-known in capitals, in the political leadership, and so I think our effort is also to try to bring more attention at the capital levels to the organization. I would like to thank our hosts, Austria, for hosting a Vienna liaison office here. We are in the process of changing offices. In the coming months, we will move our liaison office in Vienna into new headquarters. I've just had a meeting with the Secretary General of the Foreign Ministry of Austria, who has kindly offered the Austrian support, also financial support for part of the costs of these new premises. I would like to thank Denmark for hosting us in Copenhagen, our HQ in Copenhagen, and also to thank Italy and Germany for contributing to our budget by paying for some of the staff that we have on board. We've had new staff joining us. A new colleague, Daria from the Russian Federation, has just joined our Vienna liaison office starting this week. The president has hinted at some of the challenges that we have now. I will not want to have all the discussion about the annual session right now, because we will have also our Romanian colleague speaking to us. But what we know for a fact is that the annual session, as we were hoping would happen in person, it's not going to be the case. We will not have the annual session, unfortunately, fully fledged as we've known it in person. So we know by this moment already that the election of officers, that's something that interests many of you, will happen virtually. So we have already been in contact with a Spanish company, and in the coming weeks, we will meet with the Bureau also to fine-tune the technicalities of this. But unfortunately, the annual session will not happen in person. There are discussions within the Secretariat on what could be the alternatives. I will leave it to the Romanian colleagues to give some ideas, and then we can discuss about this. Um, I think I'll leave it at that. Of course, there will be some questions I'll ready to answer, but I just want to say that, well, although it's, we say in Latin, mala tempora currunt, it's hard times. You can see it from the tone also of my voice that I'm not very happy with the current situation, but I can see some light at the end of the tunnel. And as you know, I'm always an optimist. So I hope the best is yet to come for all of us. And I look forward to seeing you all in person. Thank you very much, Mr. President, and I'm ready for questions on the 3 agenda items that we've already had.